First thing is younger leaders, people who are young, cannot become leaders in the organization. Arun 007. Arun, I like your handle, man. 007. That's awesome. Hey Sid, what are the skills to be unlearned by older people who have more experience? Would be glad if you share it with us. Arun, are you asking me this? But amazing question. Because in my teams, I have people who are of the younger generation and the older generation. So I fall right in between. Some of the things what I see is with the older generation, I think these are skills which they have to unlearn. நீங்க கேட்ட கேள்விக்கு வந்து I myself am thinking through what is it that I have to unlearn, and I was continuing to think through my own experiences on a day-to-day basis and what I see in some of my leaders who are older than me. First thing is a lot of people think younger leaders, people who are young, cannot become leaders in the organization. Like it happens only with tenure. It happens only with age. That's not the case. Anybody, even if you're just entry-level talent, if you have உங்ககிட்ட வந்து அந்த skill, talent, and your aptitude is great, you have the opportunity to become a leader. So that is one aspect which the senior leader, the senior folks, or people who have a lot of tenure, or the older generation can think about that. Younger folks can also become leaders. A common thing what I see is people have this thing that the number of hours what you work equals productivity. Right? நீங்க வந்து you have to be there for 9 to 5 and then only then you're productive. Well, that's not what it is. All right. That's what the older generation generally thinks through, is what I think. What else? I think it's about like you have to follow hierarchical structure. You cannot. So the older generation generally tends to believe in that kind of leadership or style, but it's more, I don't think it is just older generation. It's about your exposure is what I think. Those leaders do not have the exposure, but today the way organizations are run is flat organizations with not much hierarchy. Loyalty is something which they have to think in a different perspective, the older generation versus what are the skills what they have to unlearn. And I wanted to say this, formal and lengthy communication. They would write pages and pages together to actually talk about a specific topic or something like that. Gone are those days. It's all the emoji world and short phrases and acronyms for various different things. So I think we got to think about the older generation, not the older generation, people who are used to that form of communication to move. How do you communicate in today's world is way different than the way it used to be communicated in the past. So we need to do that. I've also seen some of the leaders, the older leaders, come from a different generation, right? They don't use laptops, or they have like one of their executive assistants actually sitting and writing the emails for them. They will dictate. If I had to say what is it that you need to unlearn for the senior leadership, for people, senior leadership, younger folks could be in senior leadership as well. So I don't want it to be misconstrued in different ways. For people who come from the older generation or the previous generations, some of the things what they can unlearn, how you communicate, using where communication is heading towards nowadays, how younger versions, how younger generations communicate. So communication is something important. I think we should think about loyalty. Loyalty does not come with tenure. That's another area. The third area is how do you structure your teams? It's not the typical hierarchical top-down pyramid approach which really works in reporting. Now it can be a flat organization. That's another way to think about, which you can unlearn. Fear of technology and communication. That's the fourth area. Embrace more technology is what I would say. So those are my areas which I have to unlearn myself and is my recommendation. But thank you so much for asking. For the time which you've invested, I am forever grateful. Thank you, Nandri.